Today I'm working on the V12 build again. I'm working on the chassis today, making some improvements. So let's dive in and get started. So today I want to work on the chassis, start adding some bracing on the inside. There's not much bracing on this thing because I'm going to have a full carbon monocoque bonded on the inside. Today's first task is I'm going to add some cross bracing to this firewall just to give it more strength. I've not got any fancy tube notching tools, so I'm just going to do it the old way with the grinder. Now I can plan exactly where this bar is going to go. So it's going to be something like that, just to add some triangulation. So there's a few things I need to consider. The back of the seat's going to come up here, so I don't want the bar coming any further than where the seat's going to be. I've also got the firewall here, which is in multiple parts. That's all going to be sealed to the frame. Then I'm going to have a false firewall here, which is actually the carbon monocoque tub, leaving a gap wide enough so that the whole roof section can drop down behind the seats and be motorised so it can fold away. These top bars are just temporary. These are going to be replaced with some much thicker steel, the same as what I've used back here, which is the 1-inch thick wall roll cage steel. So that's going to make this whole thing nice and solid. Then the carbon tub's going to bond in on the inside, on the floor, the rear, and especially some U-shaped pieces on the inside of these parts to give it a lot of strength this way. And then it's going to be more of the tub that goes all the way to where my feet are going to sit. So it's going to be a really nice, solid carbon tub. There's also going to be Kevlar in the doors and Kevlar in the feet area. So there's still a lot more fabrication to do on the chassis. Now I can mark this part of the chassis exactly where I want to put that triangulation. So the first distance I'm going to go across is going to be 200 millimeters, because then it's behind the back of the seat, so it doesn't get in the way when I try and get in the car. And then for the vertical, I'm going to do 300 millimeters to make it quite a shallow triangle. I'm going to use this cardboard just to get the angle right. That'll give me a good starting point, and then I can trim it from there. I'll cut it slightly bigger, and then I can make it fit. Now I can see how this one fits. It's going to go something like that. I've got plenty of extra material to get me halfway in the middle of the tube, and then I can cut the angle that I need. If you're enjoying this, give me a quick thumbs up. It takes a lot of work making these episodes. I've also got memberships if you want to see some more of my private projects and some of the behind the scenes of what goes on. I've also had some questions about the chassis, so I'm going to answer some of them later on in the episode. That's both pipes now cut. So you can see here that I've got the rough shape. I've roughly marked out where the notching wants to go. So now I just need to chop this until it fits. I've made some new marks with a silver pen because they show up really well. So now I need to get this inwards. So I'm going to keep trimming these inner edges until it perfectly fits. That's the first rough cuts done. You can see I've just chopped it very roughly. It all still needs rounding off and grinding all the way back to my lines. But let's see how it fits. So you can see what this cut's supposed to do here. That's going to match that pipe. The same underneath. And down here we've got the same kind of thing going on. Once I've ground this out to fit the pipe perfectly, that should just drop in really nice. This process is quite slow. I need to keep taking it off, refitting, testing to get this to absolutely fit perfectly. So you can do this without a tube notcher. It's just a lot slower. Now I'm going to do some more of the grinding off camera and then bring it back when it's absolutely perfect. That's the pipe cut and in place. After many hours of grinding, now it fits. It's fitting really well. All the joints are really tight. I've got within 1mm around each joint, so it's perfectly good for me to weld on. So there's the pipe. Because of the two different cuts, I've got two very different angles, but it's fitting really well, really snug. So it fits on there really tight and then it just drops into place. Now I can get these painted in weld-free primer so I can attach them to the chassis and know that they're not going to rust. There's still quite a lot of building to do. I don't want the chassis getting rusty. Let's get these painted. With both of them painted, now I can get them welded in. That's both of these bars now welded in place, looking really good. We're going to add a lot of strength to the back of the car. It's going to be really good for starting to make the monocoque. It gives me a good starting line. These are all nice and straight. All the joints are nice and tight all the way around. So I'm going to fully weld them up next time I take the whole car apart. Now I'm going to answer some of them questions that I had regarding the chassis strength. I've had a lot of new subscribers recently and viewers. A lot of people are saying these bars aren't strong enough, but I know a lot of people are probably basing that just purely on looks. This thing isn't finished. There's still a lot left to do. This is 1-inch roll cage steel, so it's all really strong. But the design I'm going for here is quite minimalist. I've got big 2-inch 50mm roll cage steel all the way here and under the engine, fully supported from the firewall point. So that's already really strong. That's strong enough to take the engine weight by itself. It's just maybe not strong enough for the heavy bumps. So that's why these bars are in place. These are just adding stiffness though. These could easily be taken out and the car could drive without them. It's strong enough. So these ones are in tension. These bars are in compression, but it's only minor compression because there's also going to be another 4 bars underneath the rear subframe. So there's going to be at least 4 more links on the back of the car to ensure this rear subframe is fully constrained. It can't twist, it can't pitch, yaw or roll in any direction. It's going to be absolutely solid. So I'm going to have tension bar, tension bar, tension bar, tension bar, and then these two in compression. So that all works together. The reason I'm also doing it like this is to make it all flexible. So if I need to adjust where the rear subframe's sitting, I can easily just turn bolts and adjust things. Because I'm building this on the floor, I don't have a fancy jig table. This is all just a home build. So the approach I'm going for is just making everything adjustable. So the whole rear of the car adjustable. These points here are going to be adjustable. I've got some big chunks of steel that are going to sit inside this tube. I'm going to lob this end off and I'm going to have an adjustable bolt so I can move the position of this. I'm using all the original rubber bushings that came with the Merc subframes. That just makes it a lot more user-friendly driving it on UK roads and bumpy roads. So there's going to be a lot of compliance in this. I'm not setting the whole car up super stiff. I'm leaving them in place because the wheels that I'm going to use are going to have a lot thinner profile tyres. I believe these are 15s or 16s, but I'm going to go for 20s, so they're going to have a lot less rubber on them. So I want to keep as much rubber in the subframe and them kind of points as possible. But this whole chassis is going to be really stiff by the time it's done. By the time I've got this top bar on here and them extra bars at the back, There's also going to be bars underneath the fuel tank to support the fuel tank. So right now I've got this open area, but there's going to be bars across here, which are going to increase stiffness on this rear portion of the frame and obviously hold the fuel tank, so the dual purpose. I'm trying to keep everything really light, so I'm making everything as dual purpose as possible. So every part on this car is designed to do as many jobs as it can. So this is almost like a ladder chassis on the bottom, because this is one whole continuous hoop all the way around. So I've designed it like that, so it doesn't depend on any welds at all for the main hoop that's along the bottom. This gives it loads of safety, loads of crumple strength from any direction. It means that whole thing's just one solid piece of steel. And then it works with all these little pieces everywhere to help give rigidity to the whole car. The monocoque's going to go on the inside. That's going to massively stiffen this thing up. That's why I've not added many triangulations on this car. I'm trying to keep it really minimal, so it's really lightweight. I'm going to do some more steel work on this floor though. These are quite a thick channel. This is like 5mm thick steel channel. These are really strong, stronger than what a lot of kit cars use. But of course, I'm going to add more strength in the middle. There's going to be a few more bits of light steel, and then the monocoque is going to sit in between the seat rails and the actual bars. So the monocoque's going to do a lot of that strengthening as well. Some people have said the gearbox looks a little bit small, and that's just because this engine is so big. Any transaxle is about this size. The Lamborghini Graziano used in the R8 and the Gallardo, as well as the Porsche G50 transaxles, they're all about the same kind of size. It's just sitting very low in the car. That's mainly because of the drive shaft angles, but also because I wanted this beam in this exact position. I'm going to have the exhaust on each side, like 2 boxes, and it's all going to be quite tightly packed. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. It just helps me keep doing this stuff. I appreciate anyone that's given me a thumbs up, and of course the members for helping me keep doing this stuff. I've got loads of member stuff coming, loads of bonus content, and it's important to note it is bonus content. The whole V12 build is going to be public. If you want to see more of the details of how I've designed things on it, or how I'm doing some of the intricate tasks, some of the behind the scenes, check out the memberships. I've also got some of the projects that I'm sharing in there. So all the members videos are things like build updates, picking up parts, showing my designs, showing some of the projects and how I'm going about tackling them, what things are coming up next in the channel, figuring out how to improve the build, improve the channel, that kind of stuff. So if that interests you, join the memberships. I appreciate your support. See you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this one. It took a lot of effort making this, lots of grinding, welding, fabricating. Of course, a lot of the grinding you don't see, it's all off-camera stuff. It's many hours for me, but I'm putting a lot of work in to try and get this thing further along. Thank you for your support. Tell me about your project below in the comments. I've got so many more cool projects to share if this goes well and everyone enjoys seeing the V12 build.
It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.